Divorce is imminent. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Despite the attempts of Harry's wife to tell the world that all is hunky-dory and tickety-boo in Monty's shit show, look, here's me and has no balls going out for some scran on my 42nd birthday. So everything's all right, right? It remains the case that the naysayers are not convinced by this. Notwithstanding the fact that there was the Garden of Monty shit show fake call generated, which I still maintain was months old and has only been shown now, and the recent appearance of a bumblebee and some guy in some unironed clothing following her behind, supposedly there to convince everybody that they are together, it remains the case that there are plenty of skeptics. And news comes courtesy of St. Harry's wife, the Reddit thread. And there, Secondhand Coke has posted. I don't post often, usually just to put my tea in the comments. But from what I hear, there is now officially a legal inquiry about the custody of the children and that the divorce is an inevitability. I had originally said March, May. Now I'm saying there'll be an announcement by the end of this year. Accordingly, Secondhand Coke, who apparently has a reputation for being rather on the nose about these things, determines that there'll be an announcement by the end of the year rather than March, May. I'm assuming they're referring to March, May next year rather than March, May that has just passed. This, of course, doesn't sit with what Harry's wife would have you believe in terms of the recent appearances that have been made. But as I've explained, the recent appearance is nothing more than a respite period, and they are careering towards divorce because disengagement is the likely outcome. That's the information that's been provided by Secondhand Coke, but there's more courtesy of the Reddit thread with somebody that has taken what Lady Colin Campbell has had to say in a recent video, which is worth examining, first of all, to determine is there any legitimacy in it, and also where does this sit with the narcissistic dynamic. Daisy Beach 23 posted and has paraphrased what Lady C explained in her video. She said as follows: "Well, my dears, I have some interesting news. The King has been taking soundings in Parliament. I will not specify which house because I must protect my sources, so I will be mysterious. The King has been taking soundings about the custody of the children in the event of a divorce. I was told that the relationship between Harry's wife and Harry is dire. It is inevitable the relationship will collapse. Evidently, Harry began to see past the mask when Harry's wife insisted Harry delay the release of Spare to 2 weeks before the coronation. Harry, to his credit, said absolutely not. He refused. I'm not asking for a free pass for Harry for all that he's done, but in the interest of fairness, Harry is not the same as Harry's wife." Pausing there. He absolutely isn't, as I've made it clear repeatedly. Lady Colin Campbell continued by explaining, "I think Harry will begin to experience regret and perhaps already is. Of course, he is capable of regret. Can you imagine," she asks, "the impact it would have had 2 weeks before the coronation, the business of the Taliban, his accusations regarding his family leaking to the press, his assertion he wanted to harm his father? For legal reasons, I must point out, this is what I was told." Accordingly, if this is accurate, Harry's wife wanted to delay Spare until closer to the coronation, naturally, in order to try and overshadow it. She wasn't going, and therefore, like a narcissist that hasn't been invited to a birthday party, she wants to overshadow it, fuck it up, steal the thunder. And she sought to do so, according to Lady Colin Campbell, as a consequence of having Spare released closer to the time with all of its bombshell revelations and disclosures. Harry, however, wasn't having it, and he said no and insisted it be released, according to Lady Colin Campbell, at an earlier juncture, which of course is demonstrative of his emotional empathy that he has for his father, and, if correct, is demonstrative of how he is standing up to Harry's wife in saying no. Lady Colin Campbell continues by explaining that she regards this as credible for two reasons. One, because my sources are very good. Well, if you say so. Two, because of Harry's wife's conduct since she entered the royal family. I know so much about Harry's wife and how she has treated people, including her family, but I am not at liberty to say. There were other difficulties that impacted the marriage. In addition to Harry's wife's malignancy with coinciding the release of Harry's book with the coronation, I can report of what friends of friends have said. The filming that was done in Queen Mary's house and shown on Netflix was not done with the consent of Princess Eugenie, who has the responsibility of Queen Mary's house. Again, on the basis that Lady Colin Campbell is accurate about that, and there's no reason to think that she isn't, that would demonstrate a sense of entitlement, a lack of boundary recognition, and a lack of accountability for behaviours. It also shows the way that she's pissing off a non-intimate secondary source that otherwise was loyal, demonstrating the haphazard nature of Harry's wife's narcissism that focus on the moment without care for collateral consequences, something I have emphasised over and over again. Princess Eugenie was very embarrassed that Harry and Harry's wife released this footage to Netflix. Eugenie and Jack were not on speaking terms with Harry and Harry's wife for a period of time. I do not know how true this is, but I am only relaying what I was told. Eugenie was mortified and no longer trusts Harry and Harry's wife, so yet again, some non-intimate secondary sources in her fuel matrix have sort of turned against her. It would appear these stories of Harry calling in the lawyers and the marriage being in trouble were not pie in the sky. It sounds like it is only a matter of when, not if. And the mere fact that the king is taking soundings from Parliament is telling. You see, there are all matters of state regarding the custody of the children. There are political reasons also. The king cannot seem to be taking the children from their mother, especially when she is American-born. No matter how crass and ghastly a person is, once they marry into your family, you will do everything possible to cover up their dreadfulness. The royal family will do everything possible to maintain dignity. There is more to come. All I can say is good luck to the king. Good luck to everybody concerned. If the marriage collapses, I hope they'll all maintain a modicum of dignity. Well, Harry's wife isn't going to. It started out with the appearance of dignity, but within a matter of days after the wedding, we were told something that Harry's wife did that was so horrifying we couldn't believe it. We were told that Harry's wife was trouble brewing, and has it not brewed? Well, indeed. And as I explained to you those years ago, I saw it ahead of the curve, explaining that she was a narcissist and all of the things that would follow from that. Accordingly, second-hand Coke suggests that divorce is inevitable, something that is backed up by Lady Colin Campbell, which of course doesn't sit with the recent appearances, but we know that it's Harry's wife engaging in facade management. What you have here is the allying of the narcissistic dynamic, which is seduction, devaluation, likely disengagement. Not guaranteed, but likely. And, for reasons that I've explained by looking at the evidence, namely the lack of use that Harry is and that he's becoming more difficult to control, that increases the risk of disengagement. That dovetails with the evidence that's being put forward from both second-hand Coke and Lady Colin Campbell from their relevant sources, which all adds up to this. The divorce is coming. It's a question of when. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.